Hey everybody, welcome back to my kitchen. Today we're going to make a fruit cake, and I don't want you to cringe. This is not one of those fruit cakes you pass on that keeps getting passed on, keeps getting passed forward because everybody hates fruit cake. This is a fruit cake without any citron or any of that bitter peel. It's just a good tasting fruit cake that you'll enjoy. I promise you. Already in the bowl, I've got 1 stick of softened butter and a cup of firmly packed brown sugar. This is dark brown sugar, but you could use light brown as well if you wanted to. And I'm going to mix those together, and then I'll bring you back. All right, I've got these mixed till they're mixed pretty well. And I'm going to go ahead and add the spices. And in this bowl here, I've got a half a teaspoon of nutmeg, and I ground that myself. A teaspoon of mace, a teaspoon of cinnamon, and a half a teaspoon of allspice, and probably about 1/4 to a half a teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to go ahead and put those in. And I want to tell you right now, I'm using self-rising flour, and I'm adding the salt because salt brings out the sweet taste in things. So I'm going to go ahead and get that mixed up. This is a very easy fruit cake, very easy. Preheat your oven to 275 degrees, and your pan or pans, if you choose to make loaf pans like I am today, they'll go in the center rack, and I don't know, 9 by 13 pan of water will go in the rack under that, and that's what's going to keep your fruitcake moist. I'm going to turn that off, and in this bowl I've got 4 eggs and a teaspoon of vanilla, and I'm just going to pour them all in. I already beat the eggs up. I'm going to put them all in at one time, and along with that this is going to sound crazy, but we're going to do it. Whoops-a-daisy. This is about 1/8 of a cup of molasses, and that is going in. If we were making more fruit cakes, it'd be more, but we're only making one large one if that's what you choose to do. And you're going to grease and flour your large pan. And of course, if you choose to use all-purpose flour, you go ahead and add a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of baking powder to your mix. But since I'm using self-rising, there's no baking powder going in this. It's already in it, and I added a little bit extra salt to bring out the sweetness of the fruit cake. Alright, so we got that going. Gonna stir this up, get that going here. And don't forget there was a teaspoon of vanilla in with those eggs, but I'll have the recipe below so that you, I don't want to get it too fast. Alright, this is 1 cup of self-rising flour. Not sifted. I'm going to slow it down because I don't want it blowing everywhere. doesn't that look good? Can you all see that? I honestly think that's mixed well enough. I really do. So I'm going to cut it off, and now come the fruit and nuts. And I want to tell you that this fruit and nut mixture was soaking in blackberry wine all night. 24 hours, longer than all night. Longer than all night. So, in the bowl, you can see it. In this bowl, I've got a half a pound, not a half a cup, half a pound of chopped dates. There was supposed to be a half a pound of raisins in there, but I didn't have any, and I went to the grocery store and forgot them, so there's no raisins. But you feel free to put them in yours. I've got a little over 1/4 pound of red candied cherries, a little over 1/4 pound of green candied cherries, and a half a pound of candied pineapple, a pound of nuts. So I've got roughly, I don't know, half a pound of walnuts and a half a pound of pecans. And I'm going to tell you right now, I did not cut up any of it. None of it's cut up. None of it. It all went in whole into this bowl. And that's the way we're going to do our fruit cake. So I'm just going to stir this a minute. Can you see me? Yeah. Alright, I'm going to start putting this in. And every bit of it is going in here. What I don't miss, what doesn't go on the counter, is going in the bowl. I have a spoon with holes in it to drain some of the liquid off, because if you put too much, you cannot add it to the batter. I'm going to add a little bit of this liquid to the batter, but I'm not going to add much of it, because you don't want it to be too loose. But you want that blackberry wine flavor in there. And if you can see down in this bowl, you see I've got a lot of liquid left. But in order to cover everything, I had to. And believe me, a lot of it was absorbed. It's been absorbed. So we're just going to add just a wee bit of this liquid. And when I say a wee bit, that's exactly what I mean. Let me get finish getting all this fruit out of here first. Alright. I want to say that's about 1/8 cup of that liquid. That's all. That's all that's going in. Whoops. Let me knock some of this down, because I surely don't want it coming out. Alright, down goes the mixer. Lock it and turn it on stir. Now, if you were doing this by hand, it would take a lot longer, but we're not. We're letting the mixer do the work for us. And guess what? It's done. It's done. That's mixed. So All right, I told you now, if you've got a 10 cup or 12 cup bundt pan or flat tube pan, you can do that. I'm doing these little loaf pans, and I really didn't know how many loaves this would do, but the pans themselves are greased, and then I put parchment paper inside. That way you can lift them right out. Alright, I'm going to go ahead now, take this thing out. That's pretty much cleaned off. Yeah, it is. Alright. I'll lay it in the sink. I'll rinse it off a bit, guys, because I don't want it to stick. Alright, now let me dry my hands off. And I'm going to get I should probably use a bigger spoon than this, but I don't see one right off that doesn't have holes in it. What's this? This will do. So I've got a spoon. Let me get this out of here. First of all, I want to take this off. Oh my goodness. I'm going to get up what I dropped. Just a little bit. And I'm going to stir this around just to be sure that it got everything. Just to be sure. And I believe it did. Alright, now I've got my pan here. Let's see if I can get down. There's my first pan. I'm going to take my spoon and I'm going to start filling this up. And let's see. There we go. I'm going to kind of push it down some. And that, honestly, if you can see that, it's about 2/3 of the way up. That's about all you want in there. This end's a little low, so I'm going to add some. Pack it down a little bit. Alright, I'm done with this one. I'm going to do the other two, and then we'll be back. Well, I only got 2 loaves out of that. I started to do the third one, and I realized it was going to be skimpy, so I just went ahead and used the rest of the batter in these 2. I'm going to go ahead and put it on the middle rack of my oven with the 9 by 13 dish of water under on the next rack, and I'm going to time it. It's going to take anywhere from 1.5 hours to 2 hours and a half, and I'm not sure how long it's going to take, but I'm going to start testing it like you would an ordinary cake. I'm going to start testing it at 1.5 hours, and we'll be back when it gets done. Alright, everybody, we're back. This, well, I told you I put 2 loaves in the oven, and they took mine took 2 hours and 15 minutes to totally bake, and I kept testing it every 15 minutes after 1.5 hours. But I honestly think it needed the ½ pound of raisins that I left out of it. But it is very moist, very moist. I'm going to cut a piece for Sam and let him taste it. Can you see that? Oh my goodness. Let me put this on a plate. This is one beautiful piece of cake right here. Fruit cake. I'm going to back off just a little bit. And I'm going to let him taste it. And you know, there were other spices that could have been added and I didn't add them. So we'll see what he thinks. I left out the cloves for sure. And I can't recall what other ones I left out. But he's going to taste it and give me his opinion.
Yeah, people either love fruitcake or they don't, but I'm a connoisseur of good fruitcake.
Yeah, you like fruitcake.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Do you think it needs more spices, or
No, I don't.
you like it just the way it is?
I think it's plenty spicy enough.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very good.
Nice and moist.
Nice and moist.
All right, guys.
Good taste.
So this is the fruit cake that's not quirky, that anybody will be happy to eat and enjoy. And I hope you'll give it a try. Please like and subscribe if you haven't. Thank you for spending part of your day with me. And until next time, you all take care. Let me move out a little bit so you can get a better view. Thank you for coming in.